You know, folks, you probably all saw my video where I talked about the revealing, Ian Flynn's revelation of the revealing of a new design for the Princess Sally Acorn character. Yeah, apparently she's going to have a different outfit, a different hairdo, but still have the same facial features and all that. So, and again, the reason for it, apparently, as I said in that video, and I'll be trying to put more emphasis on this, or try to explain, basically, emphasis on it, is basically, according to rumors, I read this on one of the forums, it's due to the fact that parents, I guess, I don't know if this has been recently or in the past few years or whatever, but it seems that parents find her Satayam Season 2 design, to be too suggestive. In other words, too risky. Basically, the boots and the vest are too suggestive, too risky. Now, I've said this before in the other video, and I'll say it again. I don't think it's just entirely parents. I think Sega may have had a say in this. Like, maybe Sega's getting a lot of complaints, not just Archie, but maybe Sega's getting some complaints along with Archie, going out and saying, well, why is Amy Rose and Rouge and even Bunny all fully clothed, and yet Sally has the vest and the boots? You know, why can't she be fully clothed? So I'm guessing Sega said, you know what, enough of this shit. You know, they think I'm guessing Sega and maybe Archie both agreed, hey, look, enough of this shit. They think we treat her special. They think we don't treat her equally. Well, guess what? We're going to prove you wrong. Now, I know it sounds like they're succumbing to peer pressure, but then again, when you take a look at the rumor that I mentioned in the other video, that she has but that's the fact that she's getting this, possibly due to the fact that parents, mostly moms, I'm going to assume, feel that, no offense to any mothers out there, but moms mostly, and maybe a majority of fathers and parents together, but basically feel that her her Season 2 Satayam design is too suggestive and risky. Now, I can understand that back in the day, back when this comic first started, and it started to take on more of the Satayam perspective, and basically start using the Satayam designs for the characters like Sally, that I can understand back then nobody would really have a problem with it. But nowadays, with all this political crap going around, you know, all of a sudden they have a problem with it. You know, it's like with WWE. You know, a lot of people in the past few weeks, going on a month now, you know, have been saying the only reason WWE is suddenly taking an interest in the Susan G. Komen breast cancer research and partnering with them is because of Linda McMahon's Senate campaign. You know, people could say, well, John Cena came out and said he's the reason it came up with the idea. Yeah, maybe, but the only reason WWE even considered it, or even Vince McMahon considered it, was due to the fact that Linda McMahon is running for Senate, and this might be the best opportunity to get her into that Senate seat. So, again, in today's political world, it's kind of, I hate to say it, kind of understanding, if not really surprising, that something like this would happen. And I don't think it's due to peer pressure. I don't think it's due to, you know, fans getting on Sega and Archie Comics and saying, hey, you treat her more special than you treat all the other female cast members. And all the other female cast members are fully clothed except for her. Exception, Dulcie, if she ever shows up. Exception, maybe Hershey, if she ever comes back with just a red vest. But I get what those fans would be saying, and why I understand some of you watching this might be thinking, you know, they succumb to peer pressure. Again, it's not just peer pressure. I don't think it's just that. Because like I said, if the rumor is true, if the source of what I read is true, then parents are more to blame them for what's going on. Because you got to realize, the reason this story arc is happening right now, the reason the Genesis arc happened last year, was to introduce the new generation of Sonic fans, the new younger generation, to the franchise, to who these characters are. That's why apparently you'll get in the redesign as well, to introduce her more so to who she is. It's like I said in the other video. You take a look at what happened with Bunny even before Ian came on board. Bunny got a new redesign in the year that in the storyline year that Sonic was gone from Mobius. She got a new redesign. She went cowgirl. Take a look at Rhoda now. He's got a nanite suit. Take a look at Nicole. She stayed the way she was. You know, she still has the same design as she always does, but on occasion she could change it to a more casual, you know, go out and party outfit, as we saw in that one issue. You know, and also if she wants to, I guess, be seductive and get, you know, kind of deal, she'd go to an I Am Nicole look, but you get my point. You get my point. Mostly, you know, you get my point. They gave her, and she wasn't even a redesign as well. Heck, she went from being a portable computer to what she is now, to having a casual go out and party outfit. And even though it was due to the Iron Queen hacking into her, she also now has that Iron Nicole, or that, you know, evening gown dress, if you will, Chinese evening gown dress, whatever you want to call it. So it's not the first time. It's not. Now, I know a lot of people will say, well, what about that Barbary Koala character? We don't see her as much to even consider. I don't think they use her as much to even consider her to be a threat. But even if they did use her again, don't be surprised if she ends up with a new outfit. I know you're thinking, well, wait a minute, they have Knack the Weasel's sister Nick in there, and she's completely naked. And she's, yeah, that's true, but she's got a redesign, pink and, you know, and all that. But I get what you're saying. I get what any of you are probably pointing out on that. But, and even myself pointing out, but here's the thing. It's all due, if the rumors are correct about the parents having a say in this, it's also due to the time. It's due to the generation. Like I said, for people like myself that grew up with it for almost 20 years now, with the franchise for 20 years, well, not for over 20 years, I should say, with the franchise, as well as grew up with the Satayam portion of the franchise and the Archie portion of the franchise for the past near 20 years, then yeah, it's kind of understanding to us that we feel, well, you know, you really didn't have to do this. You didn't have to put us through this whole big story arc just to say, okay, we're going to give her this design afterwards. You could have just, I mean, heck, I don't know who was. Laser X5. Laser X5 said you could have easily just had her go, or did a side story of something like, I mean, Laser X5, this is what he said, I pointed it out in the other video. He basically said, well, they basically said, you could have easily had her in a side story. Now, basically they said you could easily have her in a story to where she went to a mall in New Mobotropolis, well, they didn't say New Mobotropolis, but you get what I'm saying, or to Station Square, wherever, had her go shop with Amy, have Amy tease her saying, look, you know, you're a tomboy and everything, but I don't think you'd go for an outfit like this, and yet have Sally say, you know what, maybe you're wrong, I like the design, I'm going to get it. It could have been easy, could have had like a little fun little side story with them going to the mall, and that's it. Or shopping, and there you go. Or with Bunny and doing it, but you get what I'm saying. But let's not throw things under the bus, my friends. This is not the first time Sally's had a different look. Alright? It's not the first time. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at some things. She's had a redesign from her orangey brown fur and yellow hair to the pink and black hair to her Satayam design without the vest to her Satayam design with the vest to what she's going to have now. And let's not forget, she had long hair too. They didn't do that in Satayam, so it's not the first time she's had some kind of modification. This is a big overhaul, yeah, I'll give it that. This is, well, not that big of a haul, but this is a much more, okay, bigger overhaul, I'll just put it that way, than what she's had before. But let's not forget, she's been in other clothing designs. Remember 174, I think it was, what was it? 174, I believe? Yeah, 174. Remember that? She was in a dress for the wedding. She had a ponytail back like this. Heck, there's an issue when Sonic's rewarded the medal in Knighted Sir Sonic. She has shields like this. She has like an outfit like this and a beret right there. It's like, why would they do that if they weren't going to try different outfits with her? Heck, they even had a side story where Bunny was getting all these Chaos Emeralds, not the powerful ones, but just enough regular Chaos Emeralds to put on her fingers for rings and for her dress for a social thing that her, Sally, Tails, and Sonic were going to. And Sally had a different design there too. Heck, look what they did in that what is it? Issue 51 or something like that. That film noir kind of homage that they did. She had a different design. She had a dress there. Heck, she even looked like she had a bit of lipstick, even though it was in black and white. But you get the idea. The point is, it's not the first time she's had some kind of modification. And again, like I said, this is a bigger modification than we've usually seen. Now, some are saying that if this design is because she got weaponized, you know, I know a lot of people don't like that. But then again, like I mentioned in the other video, it kind of makes sense. You take a look at the gloves, take a look at her hands right now in her weaponized form. You know, you take a look at the pants, you know, look, I guess they match up. The shoes, you kind of get the idea. I know a lot of people don't like the fact that that's going to be the route. But as I said in the other video, let's give it time. Because if I know Ian Flynn, and being a fan as long as I have been, I will not be surprised that after this redesign officially debuts, I would give it maybe 5 to 6 months and you'll have it back to a regular design. Guarantee it. I guarantee by the next time the Comic-Con comes around in New York and in San Diego, there's going to be rumors spreading about. People are going to start talking that she's probably going to go back to her regular design. Don't be surprised by that. Now, is that going to totally happen right off the bat? Not really, but it's something to think of. I'm willing to give this new design a chance because at least facially it's still her. And I think personality-wise it's still going to be her. But again, there's that source, that rumor going around that the reason for it is not because of Sega and Archie succumbing to peer pressure, it's because of parents. Parents, moms, dads, whatever, saying that her design, her current SatAM Season 2 design, if you will, is too suggestive, basically too risky. Now speaking of a redesign, when it was unveiled at the NYCC this past weekend, as I mentioned in the previous video, and I know I'm saying that a lot, so I apologize, a lot of people like Natalie over at the Saturday Morning Sonic forums, Modik, I can't even pronounce his name, I apologize, over at the Sega forums, mostly all kind of congratulated me and myself and some others, like Game Boy Sage and such, and said, you know what, you called it. You and other people called it. I mean, Natalie said, as soon as she heard about it, she's like, B.W. Rosas, he called it. He knew exactly what was going to happen. Game Boy Sage even called it. Trunks 2-4 called it with his artistic designs. The truth is, a lot of people knew this was happening. And this is why, and let me kind of get to this, I've said this before, but this is why Ian Flynn doesn't like people like me on his forums. I mean, believe it or not, I have respect for him as being a potentially good writer. But the thing is, the reason he doesn't like people like me on his forums, people like myself, and maybe a few others, is because he knows, being longtime fans, we know exactly, if not having a good idea of what he's got planned and what the result will be. I mean, this is not the first time people like myself have called the result, have called the aftermath of what was going to occur. We called it. I've called, other people have called similar situations, similar outcomes. Heck, when the I Am Dominion thing happened, and they did that little romance for it between Monkey Kong and Sally, I called, along with a few others, I called the fact that they're only doing this to build up to Sally and Sonic, but they're only doing this because it's the only, and I said basically that they're only doing it for this story only. That's it. Nothing else. They're not doing it for a permanent reason. They're not doing it for this reason. It's for this story only. I used an example. I said Saved by the Bell, Hawaiian-style movie. Check that movie out. It's pretty good. They had Zach involved in a romance there. It was only for that movie. You take a look at the summer episodes of Saved by the Bell before their senior year, the final year, if you will. He was involved with another character there. And that was only for those episodes, those summer job episodes. And what was the end result after him being involved with those? What was the end result? What was the end result when they brought in this one character named Tori for a few episodes before they did the graduation episode? What was the final result? The final result was him and Kelly being together. Again, it's not the first time something like that happened, and it was too predictable. And I know Ian's watching will watch this video and whatever else and listen to what people have to say online, and I'm sure Ian Flynn's thinking to himself, I can't get away with anything. I can't fool these guys for anything. I'm sure he had a lot of people in that audience this past weekend, in that room, in that panel. I'm sure he had a lot of fans when that came up and everything. That picture of Sally came up. I'm pretty sure he had a lot of them looking at each other going like, called it, knew this was going to go, probably looking at each other face to face going like, oh, cool, new design, and probably telling each other after that, knew he was going to go that direction, or, you know what, this person online called it, or that person online called it, blah, 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 blah. It's like, and then I'm pretty sure some were like, you know what, news is going to happen. Why is he trying to surprise us? You know, again, this is why Ian Flynn is very reluctant at times to really even give any detail of what's going to happen, because he knows longtime fans like myself, Laser X5, Game Boy Sage, Double X Miko Double X, and many others will figure him out and have a pretty good idea of what he's got planned. I'll give Ian credit. He's surprised us on a few occasions. That I will give him. He has, on occasion, surprised us. And he does have the ability to close out this story arc on a great note, on a tremendous note. But the point I'm trying to make is, he probably knew people were going to figure it out. That's why you've had people like myself and some others I can't think of right now, I'm sure they'll come out and say it themselves, who have been banished, if banned, from his site. People like myself who have tried numerous emails and different usernames to get on there have been banned from his site, from his forums, all because he knows people, longtime fans like us, know exactly, or if not, like I said, have a good idea of what he's got planned. You know, all Ian Flynn, with all due respect to him, all he has to do is come out on his site, on his forums, come out here on YouTube, because he's got a YouTube channel, come out on DeviantArt, because he's got a DeviantArt account, come out and say, look, I'm doing these stories for a new generation. Just come out and basically explain, yeah, I understand, basically say something like, look, I understand a lot of you longtime readers and fans can pretty much figure out what's going to happen and have a good idea of what's planned or what the result's going to be. But I'm doing this for the newer fans that don't know who the characters are, that don't know much about the stories. I'm doing it for them. And you know, if he would just come out and say that, I'd be perfectly, I'm sure myself and a lot of other people would be perfectly fine. We'd be like, okay, we get it now. You're doing these stories mostly for the newer fans, for the newer generation. We get it. We get it. We understand it. It's all he has to do. He doesn't have to come out and say, oh, well, I'm doing... He doesn't have to come out and try to be unpredictable. Because like I said, yes, he can be. He's proven it. With all due respect, he's proven it. But the thing is, a majority of the time, and I hate to say this about Ian, but a majority of the time, he's been too predictable. Everybody knows that. Now again, do I have a problem with the design that he put Sally in? No. Do I probably have a problem with what he's going to do with Antoine and Bunny? Probably not. But the point of the matter, the fact of the matter is this. He's got to improve. He's got to improve. That's the truth. He's got to make things more unpredictable. He can't always make himself predictable. That's the truth. And when you think about it, some people will look at that design and say it's similar to the Sonic GX Flash design of Sally in that Flash series that you can see on DeviantArt and places like FUS. Or it's similar to this and that. And and a lot of people are kind of wondering exactly what he's got planned for the character. Personality-wise, I think she's going to be fine. But they're wondering what else is he going to tweak. They're thinking, what is he going to do? Give her speed equal to Sonic's almost? Give her special powers? I don't know. It's like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if this is just like I said in the other video, maybe this is a way of trying to hint at the fact that perhaps she'll be in the game soon. I mean, with the rumor that the Sonic franchise, the game portion is going to be rebooted, maybe this is a way of saying, hey, she's going to be in the rebooted versions of the games. Who knows? But we'll just have to wait and see about what's going to come out of that. But the thing is, what he's doing is he's making himself too predictable. He is. Honestly, I mean, with all due respect, like I said, he's a potentially great writer. He can end the story arc in a great arc. I mean, great end, on a great climax, on an ending that everybody will enjoy. But the thing is, he's got to make himself more unpredictable. He's got to improve. He can't just make himself, the thing is, he can't just make himself unpredictable to the newer readers and the newer generation. He's got to do that to the long-time readers of the past 20 so years, or the almost past 20 years. He's got to do that. That's what he's got to do. He's got to make himself unpredictable to us. I mean, I admit, he's done it at times, but most of the time we figured him out, or at least had a good idea of what was going to happen. So he's got to improve on that some way or somehow. And again, this just proves maybe he's taking on too much. He needs to lessen the load. He needs to hand off some titles, some comic book titles, to other people. He needs to hand off maybe Universe to Tracy Yardley. Maybe hand off Mega Man to somebody else. I'm just saying. Again, though, the fact is, Ian Flynn, the only reason he doesn't like having people like me around on his forums, the only reason he doesn't answer people like me directly, is because he knows this, that me, people like Laser, XX Miko XX, Game Boy Sage, and many others pretty much figure him out and have a good idea of what he's got planned. And again, all he has to do, and I know I got a little excited when I said this, all he has to do is come out and tell us, either on his forums, either on his DA account, either on his YouTube account, just come out and say, look, I'm doing the stories for the new generation of fans, for the younger fans, for the fans just getting introduced to this world. Oh, not just for you guys, but for them, mostly for them. That's all he has to do is come out and say that. Now, before I end this video, I do want to give credit to Ezekiel 300. He's always had faith that Sally was going to be okay. And you were right, Ezekiel, she is. But I want your thoughts on what you think about her design. Or her new design. But all in all, again, what he needs to do is improve. That's all he needs to do. But overall, again, it's like I said in the other video, it's not the first time a character's had a redesign, even if it's temporary or permanent. Take a look at Minnie Mouse in Disney. She's had a redesign for House of Mouse. Take a look at April O'Neil in the original TMNT cartoon series. For 7 years, she was the yellow jumpsuit and everything. Come the 8th season, she's got leather jacket, she's got just a freelance, she's just a casual look. Leather jacket, t-shirt, pants, that's it. Same facial design and everything, but then come the last 2 seasons, her facial design does change a little bit. Her hair becomes a little bit more straight. but you still got the new design of the leather jacket, and well, not the leather jacket, or the long sleeve jacket, whatever you want to call it, the pants and the blue T-shirt. So, and then take a look at the turtles themselves. They got redesigned to look kind of like the movie counterparts almost. The point I'm trying to make is it's not the first time characters have been redesigned after many years of being established as the way they are. So, again, it's totally up to what fans are going to say about the redesign when it officially debuts. The question is when? When is it going to debut? Is it going to debut before or after the crossover? We'll have to wait and see. But that's all I'm going to say. Give me a video response down below if you like. Comment if you like down below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with anything I said? Let me know down below, and I'll talk to you all later.